Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. It is the Brownwood Lions Coaches Show here on KOXE. I'm Derek Stuckley, along with Brownwood Lions head football coach, athletic director Sammy Burnett. We are 2 days away from the regional semifinal playoff game with Wichita Falls at Abilene Christian University, 7 o'clock Friday. So, Coach, how have things gone this week?
They've gone extremely well. Our kids are really focused. They worked hard on the game plan that we put in place. I think we got a real good game plan. They understand there could be inclement weather like there was last Friday. They're embracing all that and trying to get in the zone and not letting anything break their focus on what they're trying to accomplish on Friday.
All right, so we mentioned our defense a little this past Monday. We've given up 13 points the last 3 games. We're allowing 179 yards in that span per game. Wichita Falls come in. They've won 4 games in a row. They haven't allowed more than 2 touchdowns in those 4 games. So just kind of talk about their defense a little bit and the challenges they're going to present y'all.
They've run several defenses. It could be a challenge. We'll have to see what they're going to get in when the game starts. But they've been in a 5-1 bear front. They've been in a 4-2-5, and they've been in a 3-3 stacks, really similar to what we do. So we'll have to decipher what they're trying to do and how they're trying to attack us and make our game plan accordingly, during the game, adjust our game plan, I say. But I think we have a solid game plan that will match any defense that they're in. They're fast. They fly around. They're not big. They got a really good linebacker. His name's Cameron Gould, whatever, but number 4, he's really good. He also plays running back for him, and he'll play wildcat quarterback for him as well. So he's a good athlete. We got to make sure we get him blocked. In the back end, their kids run around. They cover well. They play a lot of zone. They'll play some man free. Our job is to dominate the line of scrimmage. We got to win up front with the offensive line and establish a run game. It could be vital in the fact that the weather could be bad. The wind could be blowing up to 20 miles an hour, which can affect your passing game. So it's important that we establish the run and dominate up front, protect the football, and then build our play-action game off that and our vertical threat passing game as well.
As far as their offense goes, another quarterback's thrown over 200 yards. You mentioned the Gould kid kind of does it all on offense. They've got a couple of receivers, I think over 30 catches. So I guess how do they compare offensively to some of the teams y'all have seen?
I think, you can compare them to anybody in our district. You can compare them to Canyon. I don't think they're as strong as Canyon. I don't mean that disrespectfully. I just think Canyon was very well versed in what they do and understood exactly what they were doing and trying to do it. They were very well coached. Not saying that Wichita Falls didn't. I just think Canyon had a strong identity in what they were doing. They're pretty balanced. They throw the ball about 50-50, 50% run, 50% pass. They got 2 good running backs, and then they'll throw 4 in the mix as well. When he's in the game, he's in there for a reason on offense. They'll put him at receiver, things like that. They got 2 big, tall kids on the outside that can go get the football. They do a good job of throwing the comeback route, so we got to be able to defend that. And we got a good game plan with that. For us, I think we got to take one of the elements away as we always do. We try to figure out what we want to stop them at and make them beat us with something else. So we got a game plan for that. So all in all, I think they're very balanced. I mean, they're not in the regional semifinals or whatever you want to call it, the quarterfinals for no reason. I mean, they're a good football team. They're very well coached. Grant Freeman was here at Brownwood for a while. He left here and became the head coach at Wichita Falls for the last 5 years, I guess, and 5 or 6 years, and he does a good job with those kids, and they're playing hard for him. So we expect it to be a knockdown and drag out. We want to stay in the ball game early, try to have the lead when going to the half, and impose our will in the second half, and block out the elements and just play Brownwood football.
Of course, we always talk about offense and defense, but special teams, again, played a key role last week and has all season long. Just how important has that phase been for y'all this year, and how important do you expect it to be Friday night?
It's extremely important. Our kids have taken it serious, too. That's why we've been successful in the special teams. We've spent a lot more time working on special teams. Ryan Jackson's our special teams coordinator, does a phenomenal job with that. The wind could play a big factor in field position, whether you're punting or kicking into the wind or with it. So that's going to be a factor. We've worked on some things with our kicker to make sure he can get that thing moving into the wind if that has to happen. And then also if it's to your back, it's a little more simple. But, we've make sure we secure our protection on our punt team so that we don't get a punt block. We've also looked at ways to defend them. They got a good punt returner. He'll go get it at any moment. Doesn't matter where you are. He'll let you get right in his face. He'll catch it and try to break a tackle and go. So we're really focused on that. And then Junior's solid in the extra point field goal range. So I think just continue doing what we're doing in the special teams and reverse the field when we can, and make sure that we have a plan if we're punting or kicking into the wind and how we need to accomplish what we want to accomplish in that. So really been focusing on that, but I think that was a big factor in our game last week against Canyon. We pinned them inside the one on punt, and Junior's done that several times this year. Did a great job of covering down the field and stopping that ball. He does a great job in the kicking game. We've done a pretty good job covering kickoffs, so that's huge. We're not afraid to kick it deep. A lot of people don't want to kick it deep because they don't feel their cover team is that strong. But I'm like, let's kick it as deep as we can and make them get the best results that they can so we can try to give them an extended long field. And our kids have done a great job of that. So I think our kids understand even more so now the importance of special team after last week and what we were able to accomplish and the way we're able to reverse the field on them and pin them back and make them drive the entire field to score points. So I think that's huge.
Something we hadn't talked about the last couple of weeks because we really hadn't had to is the health of the team right now.
Yeah, right now, I mean, other than just bangs and bruises, we got an ankle. Davis Lee's was banged up last week in the game and missed several series. Came back in the second half and played with a bum ankle. Icall has a jammed finger on his throwing hand that's swelled up pretty bad, but he's pushing through that. It's just the typical bumps and bruises and bangs and soreness that you have this time of year. But thank the good Lord that we're as healthy as we've probably been. Like I said, since the first of the season after our first game against Wiley when we lost Dryden Anderson.
Yeah, how important is that for you? 13 games into the season now and basically just one guy out.
Yeah, it's extremely important. I was reading Dallas Houston's article on what it takes to win championships and how teams have had the ability to win championships and haven't done it for whatever reason. And one of the three things that he talked about was being lucky, and he wasn't talking about being lucky in the game. He said you can't be a fluke and make it this far. Our team's definitely not a fluke. He talked about, Coach Wood talking about you got to get lucky, and he's not really talking about the game, situations in the game, because people that are good make situations happen, but just the accidents that may happen in practice, that may happen out on the street. He mentioned about a quarterback rolling his ankle and not being able to play, which stopped the season. He talked about a car accident that a couple of players were involved in that they weren't able to play, and just being unlucky. And so far right now we've been extremely lucky in our health, and I think that's just a blessing as part of the Lord's plan, and we're on our path to see what his will is, and I'm really thankful that our kids are able to get out there. I still feel for Dryden. I talk to him all the time. He's got a great attitude. I try to get him involved in our kicking the field part when helping me and on Thursdays, and he's got a great attitude, but I feel for him because he really worked so hard in the off season to have the opportunity to go shine and play and make our team a better team, and he's not able to do that. But, man, his heart is right, and he knows that the Lord has a plan for him, but I feel for him. But for the others that are healthy and are able to get out there and play, man, what a blessing it is.
Right. Of course, we're not the only game at ACU Friday. Decatur and Canyon Randall will play the other semifinal at 1 o'clock. Any thoughts on that game?
Yeah, we're going to, Coach Jones and myself, are going to leave early and go watch that game for a potential opportunity to play one of those two teams. It helps me a whole lot when I can see them in person, get an eye on them, see how physical they are, see if someone gets injured that you don't see, things that you can't see on film, intensity of the game, the duration of the game, how they handle ups and downs of the game are really important for me to just get to see it in person instead of trying to figure that out on film. We'll send our kids off at 2:30. They're going to have a send-off at the high school. They'll have an escort out of town, and Coach Denard and Coach Wilson will lead them out, and we'll stick to our routine. We'll do our walkthrough at Abilene Cooper High School, and then we'll after that we'll head to the field and give them something to eat and start getting prepared to kick it off at 7 o'clock. Sorry, I'm a little dragging today. Can't get my words out.
That's all right. And no plans next week, regardless of who we play.
Not yet. We got some things in the works. They're real tentative. I'm on the list at ACU again if it happens to be Decatur. Also at Baylor. trying to secure a spot there for a possibility to meet them there and play that game there. If it was Decatur, if it's Canyon Randall, I haven't spoke to their coach yet, assuming what it's been in the past. If we wind up playing Canyon Randall, I would assume it'd be somewhere in the Midland, Odessa area.
Okay.
And like I said, that's just an assumption. Don't hold me to that, but I've been working through that, trying to find places and venues to play that other coaches would agree on. And as soon as the games are over, if we're successful, which we plan on being, and whoever wins that first game at 1 o'clock, we'll get on the horn and we'll start talking and start making preparations.
Also, tomorrow, Thanksgiving practice out at the stadium. The community's invited to come watch.
Yeah, we're going to have our kick the field, which is every situation that you can possibly face in a game. We put our kids through those scenarios so they're comfortable if that something happens in one of those situations service during a game. That takes about 45 minutes. The Mothers Club's going to be out there with donuts and coffee, so if you want to come out and watch, get you something to eat and get you something warm to drink and come watch our kids and see the excitement in them. They're having, I think, a 5K or something like that out there as well, so there'll be a direction. You have to go towards the visitor side to get in if you want to do that. I think they may be using the home side, so you may want to go by the junior high or the middle school area to get past the soccer fields to get to the visitor side if you want to come out and enjoy watching our kids get ready for that kickoff on Friday.
And what about tickets for the game Friday?
Thank you. There is one of those square things. What's that called?
QR code.
QR code that you can click on and buy your tickets pre-sale. If you don't want to do that, you can go to the game. If you don't have cash, you can use your phone and take a picture of it, however that works, and pay for it that way. Or you can just go the old school Sammy Burnett way and take cash to the game and buy your ticket at the gate. Cash, it's $10 for adults and $5 for students. I think anybody under 5 is free. Those ticket prices were set by ECU. We didn't have any say in that, so sorry for the increase in price for the adults, but sometimes when you get this far and you're playing in bigger venues, it is what it is.
And we are the home team, right?
We are the home team. I don't know where that got misconstrued, but apparently I didn't communicate properly, but we knew Friday night that we'd be the home team. We're going to travel better than they will, and I wanted to be on that home side, and we're fortunate enough to get that done.
Yeah, there is a little difference between the home side and visitor side.
Yeah, I've never played in that stadium, but I have watched several playoff games there, and I was there with a Post and I think it was Post and Cisco, and I walked in on the visitor side and had to go around to the home side because there wasn't enough seating. And if those two schools are playing and they're filling the stands on the visitor side, I figured we'd fill it and overflow it, so it's important that we got that home side.
Well, let's talk about some other sports this week. I know Lady Lions basketball beat Early and lost in overtime to Odessa yesterday, and then the Lions came up 2 points short against Brady.
Brady.
Did you talk to either of the coaches about their performances?
Yeah, I didn't get to visit with Coach Horch yesterday. I was busy and she was gone, and we just didn't cross paths later in the evening. But from what I understand, they came back from 13-point deficit to go to overtime, and then they lost in overtime by 2, I think it was. So against a 6A school, for them to go compete, and they're young, and they're working through some wrinkles, but it seems like they're growing. They played a early team that I thought was a decent basketball team, and they were very competitive, and our girls got hot and hit some points, hit some three-pointers that sort of expanded the lead and gave them opportunity to win that game. So I think they're progressing like they should be and how they want to be. The focus is let's get as strong as we can, play whoever we can play, and play to the best of our ability, so when we get to district, we'll be able to compete and make a run. On the boys' side, they're still missing a whole lot of their guys. Those guys that are there right now are doing everything they can to go out there and grow and learn and get competitive. They haven't been playing in a while, so they're getting those competitive juices flowing. They're getting in there and competing, and Coach Parker does a phenomenal job of having high-intensity practices and putting those kids in uncomfortable situations and scenarios so that they can go out there and compete and grow and get better. And they played a Brady team that was fully loaded, and to come out of there with just a 2-point deficit is, I think, impressive, with the fact that we're still missing several kids, and they're putting some people in spots that may not normally be there when the regular season goes.
So no other action other than Lions football the rest of the week. So anything else you want to mention, Coach?
No, I mean, like I said, if you want to come out tomorrow, we'll be on the field around 9:05, 9:10. We'll stretch, and we'll get out there and kick the field. Come out there, bring your kids if you want to. I don't care if they're 30 years old or if they're 5 years old. We're one. You can bring them out there and just enjoy a little bit of time watching our kids run around, get to know them a little bit, and have a donut and drink some coffee.
All right. Well, I think that's going to pretty much wind us up this week. We want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Anybody else? Anything else you want to mention,
Yeah,
Coach?
we got to thank those that make this show possible. Auto Glass Magic, Brunner Auto Group, Syntex Body and Paint, Syntex Equipment Sales, Citizens National Bank, Dan Hill Containers, Dr. Bon Young, Dr. Pepper Bottling Company, Everett Jones Investments, Hendrick Medical, Howard Enterprises, Humphrey Peets, Heartland Funeral Home, Landmark Life, MC Bank, Painter Johnson Associates, Smith and Sharp Agency, Sonic Drive-In, Stanley Chrysler, Texas Bank, Weldon Wilson Electric, Western Bank, and Willie's Teas.
All right. We will be back Monday to recap the Wichita Falls game. Look ahead to the regional championship here on KOXE, KOXE.com, the KOXE app, and the KOXE Facebook pages.
Happy Thanksgiving, Brownwood. I'll see you Friday.